Good evening, people, and welcome to another video. Today I am drawing a quick little portrait, I guess, and it's a practice for a potential painting. Just a quick sketch to see where it goes, and maybe I'll make a painting out of this. So today I thought I would talk about art school. This is something I see a lot, especially on YouTube. Videos on art school, and often it's people who were disappointed in the system, and I would like to share my thoughts on this topic and also my experience, what I experienced going to art school. I didn't go there for long, but anyway, I will just tell you what I think about it. So, a very important question you should ask yourself, in my opinion, before applying to a school is why you want to go there. What's the purpose? If you want to become an art teacher, for example, then I guess there's no other way around it. You have to get your degree and then get your master's, and then you can be a teacher. But I don't think that art university is the best approach when it comes to learning how to paint or draw. And I don't want to trash art schools, because I know there's very great aspects about university and art schools. Like, for example, meeting other people who are passionate about painting or drawing or any other art form, and exchanging your ideas with them, and there's this whole community aspect, and which is very important for us artists, because we often artists are very often lonely, because, well, that's what you do. You sit in your studio, in your room, and you paint or you draw. It's not a team project. You are very often alone, painting, dealing with those problems, solving issues, being discouraged, and not knowing who to ask and who to share your problems with, because it's not that easy. It's something vulnerable when you realize that there's something wrong with your painting and you don't know how to fix it and who to ask. So going to a school where you can see other people, maybe talk to them, ask some other students for an opinion, maybe, if you trust them enough. Just exchange problems, and this community aspect is great. But when it comes to learning specifically and studying painting or drawing, I think that there's a major problem, and something I noticed right away. It's the fact that art schools, they don't focus on one specific art form. It's a whole bunch of stuff stuffed in a 3 years period, and you don't have to be a genius to figure out that focusing on many different things at once will make it very difficult to become great at one thing that you want to learn. For me, it was painting. So I saw the curriculum and just thought to myself, well, I want to be the best I can at painting, But going to art school, I will be forced. I mean, I'll have to deal with other subjects such as performance art, photography, film editing, sculpture, and so on. So I just couldn't understand that concept of just doing those things and just scratching the surface, instead of deeply focusing on one thing. So I still don't understand how it makes sense that there's so many things to do. And I guess I think Delacroix said something like, if you strive to be perfect at everything, you will be perfect at nothing. And that quote comes to my mind when I think about art schools and painting specifically. I don't think there's a painter or any artist that is just perfect at everything, perfect at coloring, at proportions, at composition, and at paint application. Every artist has a strength. So just objectively looking at a curriculum, at an art school curriculum, I looked at it and I thought to myself, okay, so there's a painting course, but it takes place only once a week for roughly 90 minutes. And there's many other things I would have to do, like even didactics, because I was considering becoming an art teacher, and probably like photography or performance art even. And I just felt this anxiety because I was suddenly worried about wasting my time on things that didn't really matter to me. And another thing I was worried about is that going to art school would ruin my love for painting, because I would be forced to be there, forced to go there to maybe become an art teacher in the future and to get my degree. And I was just scared and anxious that doing that would have the consequence of me losing interest and losing losing my love for painting. That was another important reason why I eventually decided to quit after a while, and I chose a different major. So this is what I found interesting and disappointing, I guess, about art school. And another important point is that if you decide to go to art school or university or college, what you will be doing is essentially, the whole idea of a school is that you learn from other people, right, who know how to do it. Well, first of all, it's not always the case. Unfortunately, some people don't really know how to do it, don't know how to paint. And but let's suppose you have a teacher who knows what he or she's doing, and you learn from them. So you learn from other people. However, learning from other people is something you can do at home, and it's something I would encourage you to do. It's learning from other masters, from other painters, from other artists. That's the same concept. You learn from other people. It just happens that those people that you will learn from died 200, 300, 400 years ago, and that's what I did. If you if you're maybe you're graduated, maybe you're um, done with school, maybe you consider studying art at university. Regardless, I would recommend studying from other artists and painters and copying them. That's how you learn the best. By copying, you engage in a conversation with those people, and you begin to understand how they solved issues, solved problems. For example, you want to paint a portrait, and you think to yourself, okay, I'm gonna look at a picture, a photograph. Maybe I will take a photo of my friend, my brother, or whatever. Maybe a photo of myself, and you look at it and you think to yourself, all right, so first thing I see is there's a million details, right? Eyelashes, maybe there's a beard or hair. How do I do that? Do I paint every single eyelash? What about skin? How do I paint skin? What about eyes? It's also complicated. Do I have to paint every little thing? It's gonna take forever, and it's not gonna work out. I mean, no matter how much you try. And it's an issue. It's a problem. So, what you need to do is to solve that problem. What you do is you look at someone who has already solved that issue, that problem, right? You look at other painters, you look at other artists, sculptors, maybe digital artists, if that's what you do. And you ask yourself, okay, how did they approach this issue? How did they solve this problem of, let's say, painting eyelashes? And the first thing you will discover is that many of those painters, they didn't paint eyelashes at all. For example, that's just an example. There's other problems we have to solve as artists. And by doing that, it will make your learning progress much, much easier. You won't be alone in that. You will be with people, with painters who struggled just like you, but found a way to figure out a way of doing it. And by copying them, you will develop a feeling for problem solving, because painting is essentially it's problem solving. You don't go from A to straight B. You go from A to B to C to D. Then suddenly you go to G, and then back to A again, and then to C, and then maybe you revisit B, and you think to yourself, okay, how can I make this work? So painting is essentially a series of solving problems. And by looking at people who have already solved those problems, you're going to make it easy, or easier. It's never easy. Easier on yourself. That's what I recommend doing. And obviously in the beginning you want to minimize everything and break everything down and start with basic principles. So regardless whether you're going to art school or consider going to art school, maybe you're a bit older and you're working, or you consider picking up art, that's one thing I would highly recommend you do, is to copy. There's no shame in copying. I'm not saying become like them. I'm not saying become like Rembrandt or become like John Singer Sargent. You simply copy to learn how they solved problems. Okay? Just like when you study English, for example, you interpret like Shakespeare and I don't know, other authors, you take their work and break it down. You interpret it and you try to understand what it means. You don't become like them. You don't become like Shakespeare. You don't become like Tolstoy or anyone else. What you do is you try to understand them. You engage in a conversation. So I guess that's my whole message of this video. Think about why you want to go to art school, and what your goal is, or just you can try just blindly applying and trying it out. That's what I did, and maybe it'll be great. I don't know, but in my experience, it was something that I had to be careful about. So yeah, maybe you want to share your thoughts, your experience about art school and university. Feel free to do so in the comments below. And yeah, happy painting, and see you in the next video. Bye.